Hello students, in the last class we have explained the different types of defects in case of solids, so that is a stoichiometric defect and impurity defect as well as non-stoichiometric defect. So in the last class we have completed the complete part of the stoichiometric defect. So in that interstitial defect also we have seen, that is vacancy defect also we have seen, and basically in terms of vacancy defect there is a missing of atom. Right? At a particular point, we'll call it as vacancy defect. And interstitial defect means, in case of interstitial defect, what happens? There will be an same number of atoms even after the defect, which means the atoms or the substance which is present within the crystal system will just move away from its original position to the interstitial side, which means in between the points or in between the substances or in between the atoms, like that. Right? So therefore, here we can observe the representation, that is a normal condition of the crystal, and after vacancy defect what is the change in the crystal system. Similarly, along with vacancy defect and interstitial defect, we also seen two different types of defect, that is Fresnel defect and Schottky defect. Right? So in Fresnel defect, what happens? There is a dislocation of cation. This word is very important. Only the dislocation of cation can be seen in case of Fresnel defect from its normal side to the interstitial side, which means Fresnel defect is also a type of interstitial defect. There is no any kind of missing of the element or the missing of atom, just there is a delocalization from its original position to the interstitial side. And in case of Schottky defect, what happens? Both missing of cations and anions, right? So here if you observe, both missing of cation, along with that the anions also missed from the crystal lattice. These are generally called as Schottky defect, right? So these are very two important defects, that is Fresnel defect is a type of the interstitial defect and Schottky defect is a type of the vacancy defect. Okay, further if you observe one of the important 2 marks question for your syllabus according to your examination, that is the main important differences between the Fresnel defect as well as Schottky defect, right? So here if you observe, you can write 3 to 4 differences between the Fresnel defect as well as Schottky defect. First one is always written in terms of definition, that is dislocation of cations from its normal side to the interstitial side, that we have already seen in case of definition of Fresnel defect. Fresnel defect refers to the it's a type of interstitial defect in which dislocation of only cations takes place from its normal side to the interstitial side. But in case of Schottky defect, what happens? Missing of both cations and anions from the crystal system, right? So if you take any kind of crystal system, that also we have seen in representation also, whenever there is a missing of both cations and anions, right? If there is a missing, means there is a just an interstitial defect in case of cations, that is generally called a Fresnel defect, and completely missing of both cations and anions from the crystal system is generally called as Schottky defect. That is the first important major difference between the Fresnel defect as well as Schottky defect. Next one is density remains the same. Here if you observe, the density remains the same. So in case of a Fresnel defect, because it is just an interstitial defect, which means there is no any kind of missing or loss of the positive charge or a negative charge like this in case of crystal system, right? Whenever there is a complete loss, there may be reduce in the value. Since there will be a same value even after the defect, therefore its the density remains same. But in case of Schottky defect, what happens? Density decreases. Why it decreases? Because of completely missing, right? So missing of cations and anions from the crystal system, so there will be a reduce in the number of atoms. So whenever the number of atoms reduces, so its density goes on decreases. And the third important difference is it is found in the coordination, it is found in the solids having a low coordination number, right? So whenever coordination number, we already seen the definition of coordination number. Coordination number means the total number of nearest neighboring atoms which are present in the crystal system, right? So whenever it is 2, we'll call it as coordination number is 2. Whenever the nearest atoms are 4, right? So that is square close packing, we have seen the total number of atoms are 4, nearest we'll call it as coordination number is 4. And if it is hexagonal, if there are 6 nearest atoms, that we will call it as hexagonal close packing, right? So based on the coordination number that we have seen, right? So if you see here, so if there is an arrangement of atoms like this, right? So in this pattern, if you observe, if you consider any of the atom or any of the molecule here, so its coordination number is 4 because it is interlinked with 4 atoms, right? So if it is a hexagonal close packing, right? So in case of a hexagonal close packing, there what happens? The coordination number will become 6, because whenever you consider that substance or element, it is interconnected with 6 different substances or atoms or molecule, right? So here the Cn is 6, that is coordination number is 6, and here the coordination number is 4, right? So like this, in case of Fresnel defect, right? So the Fresnel defect can be seen in the solids which are having low coordination number, which means it might be in case of 2 or in case of 4, right? So but in case of Schottky defect, what happens? So it is generally found in the solids having high coordination number, right? So that is the important difference between the Fresnel defect and Schottky defect, right? So it is found in case of solids having low coordination number, but the Schottky defect is generally seen in case of the solids having high coordination number. And the next important difference is the Fresnel defect is a type of interstitial defect, okay, that we have already seen in case of definition also. It is a type of interstitial defect because just there is a change in the position of the atom, or just there is a change in the delocalization of atom to the interstitial side. Therefore, it is a type of interstitial defect. But in case of Schottky defect, what happens? There is a complete missing of cations and anions. Both anions and cations are completely missed from the crystal system, and this is generally called as vacancy defect. And if you see the example, the Fresnel defects can be observed in case of zinc sulfide, silver chloride, and silver bromide, right? So the Fresnel defect can be seen in case of zinc sulfide, silver chloride, and silver bromide. But in case of Schottky defect, what happens? It can be seen in case of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and silver bromide. And one important thing is silver bromide is the molecule which has the ability to show both type of defect, right? So that is Fresnel defect also, Schottky defect also. Therefore we have written here, right? So in case of Fresnel defect also we have written AgBr, that is silver bromide, and similarly in case of Schottky defect also we have written AgBr, which means the AgBr, that is silver bromide, has an ability to show both type of defect, that is Fresnel defect also, Schottky defect also, right? So this is a compulsory 2 marks question in case of annual examination. Most of the time they have repeated. Go through the different question paper, previous year question papers. So in that you will observe one important question, that is the differences between the Fresnel defect and Schottky defect. Either they may ask in terms of definitions, and they may ask even for 1 marks, that is examples for the Fresnel defect or examples for the Schottky defect. Even in case of CET also, there might be 1 marks question, right? So identify the solid in which the Fresnel defect takes place, or identify the solid in which the Schottky defect might takes place, like this, right? So for 2 marks minimum you have to write 4 differences. First one is always definition, that is a dislocation of cations from its normal side to the interstitial side for Fresnel defect. And in case of Schottky defect, what happens? Missing of cations from its both cations and anions from its crystal system, complete missing, is called as Schottky defect. And density remains same because after the defect also the number of atoms remains the same in case of Fresnel defect, therefore density remains same. But in case of Schottky defect, what happens? Due to the missing, that is the loss of anions and cations, so its value goes on decreases, therefore the density also decreases. And in case of Fresnel defect, what happens? It is generally seen in terms of solids having a low coordination number, wherever the arrangement of atoms is very less, which means coordination number 2, coordination number 4, like that, right? So therefore it can be observed in case of low coordination number. But in Schottky defect, what happens? These are observed in case of high coordination number. The solids are having high coordination. Whenever there is a more than 4, whenever the coordination number is more than 4, in that solid, so the Schottky defect can be observed. And whenever you go through the differences, that is the type of defect, the Fresnel defect is always called as interstitial defect, as we know that one, and Schottky defect is generally called as vacancy defect. And if you go through the examples, like Fresnel defect is generally called as Fresnel defect can be generally seen in terms of zinc sulfide, silver chloride, and silver bromide. But in Schottky defect, what happens? So the Schottky defect can be seen in case of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and silver bromide, like this. And silver bromide is the important molecule, right? So that compound can show both type of defect, that is Fresnel defect and Schottky defect. Even they may ask for 1 mark also, right? So write the molecule or give the molecule which can, or give the compound which can show both type of defects like Fresnel defect as well as Schottky defect, and that molecule is silver bromide. So this is all about the stoichiometric defect, right? And second important type of defect is impurity defect, right? So impurity defect means the defect caused on the addition of the compound, right? So whenever you add another substance, what happens? There will be a change in the arrangement of atoms, right? So that is generally called as impurity defect. Impurity means, so it's not like which is not useless, it is also useful, which means it is alteration from the pure form, right? So pure form will convert into impure form, right? So always never think that the impurities are not useful, right? So sometimes impurity is also useful. Impurity means it is away from the pure value. It is away from the pure value, like that, right? So the defect which is caused due to the addition of other compounds or molecules. Whenever you add other compounds or other molecules, then what happens? The purity changes. The purity slightly changes, and that is generally called as impurity defect, right? So here if you observe the representation, you can clearly understand that one. Here if you observe this one, so this crystal system is before defect, and if you observe, all the atoms are made up of Na plus Cl minus, Na plus Cl minus, Na plus Cl, like this. There is a continuous addition of, there is a continuous arrangement of Na plus and Cl minus, right? So which means this crystal system is made up of NaCl, right? So that crystal system is made up of NaCl. After breaking, they will convert into Na plus and Cl minus ions, right? So if you split, these are made up of Na plus as well as Cl minus ion, right? For this pure molecule, this is initially pure, right? So if I add strontium chloride, that is SrCl2. SrCl2 is nothing but a strontium chloride, right? So if you divide strontium chloride, you will get Sr plus 2 and Cl minus, right? So you will get Sr plus 2 and Cl minus. Here if you observe, whenever you add chlorine, already chlorine is present here. Chloride ions are present in case of the crystal system which is before defect, right? So if you add Sr plus here, right? So whenever you add SrCl to this crystal, then what happens? This Sr plus 2 will try to fix in the position of Na plus. It will try to replace Na plus. Sr plus will try to replace Na plus. Here if you observe, Sr plus 2 is having plus 2 charge. Sr plus 2 is having, here if you observe, this is plus 2 charge, right? But if you take Na plus is having only one charge, that is plus, right? So that is the major difference between Sr plus 2 and Na plus, right? So Sr is plus 2 charge and Na is only plus 1 charge, right? So to remove, right, or to add this Sr plus 2 here, I have to remove, so 2, right? So I have to remove 2 Na plus ions. So here if you observe, so 1 Sr plus 2 is equivalent to 2 Na plus. That only I am explaining here. So 1 Sr plus 2, if you take this Sr plus 2, right? So Sr plus 2 is equal to 2 moles of Na plus, because if you observe charge here, it is plus 2 charge for strontium and plus 1 charge for sodium. That therefore you have to double that one. Therefore what happens? So 1 Sr plus 2 is equivalent to 2 Na plus. 1 Sr plus 2 is equivalent to 2 Na plus, which means if you want to add Sr plus to this crystal, you have to remove 2 Na plus. Therefore, here if you observe, after the defect, what happens? So 1 Sr plus 2 will take the position of one sodium atom here, and we have to remove 2, because we have to remove 2 sodium atoms and 1 is vacant. Even after the addition of Sr plus 2, 1 is already vacant, because so before addition of this Sr plus 2, I have to remove 2 Na plus, right? So whenever you remove 2 Na plus, so one place will be occupied by this Sr, right? So this Sr will occupy one place and another place will be empty. That is generally called as vacant place, right? So the defect caused due to the addition of another compound or another molecule like this, and therefore there is a creation of vacancy. So that is generally called as impurity defect. Very simple. So if they ask for 1 mark, write down the defect caused due to the addition of another compound or another molecule is generally called as impurity defect, right? So this is all the representation. It depends on the charge of the ion which is present in the added compound, right? So the charge of the ion which is present in the added compound. If it is Sr plus 3, assume if it is Sr plus 3, we have to remove 3. Right, so we have to remove 3 Na plus ions. Whenever you remove 3 Na plus ions, so that Sr plus 3 will be occupy one place, but all the 2 other places will be empty. That is generally called as impurity defect. And third important type of main type of defect is non-stoichiometric defect. We have already seen the stoichiometric defect, and in that there were 4 subclassification. So one is vacancy defect, second one is interstitial defect, third one is Fresnel defect, fourth one is Schottky defect. And second important type or main type of defect was its impurity defect. There is no further subclassification for your syllabus. And in case of third important that is defect is a non-stoichiometric defect, right? So here there are two types. I will explain here, right? So in case of non-stoichiometric defect, what happens? The defect which do not disturb the stoichiometry, which means it will not change any kind of density or any kind of mass, any kind of like a volume, right? So that is generally called as non-stoichiometric defect, right? Which means which will not disturb or which will not change its stoichiometry, that is generally called as a non-stoichiometric defect, right? So which will change the stoichiometry, that is generally called as stoichiometric defect, right? So that is the third important type of defect, which is known as non-stoichiometric defect, in which what happens, the defect which do not disturbs, that word is very important, right? So the defect which do not disturbs the stoichiometry of the molecules or stoichiometry of the compounds is generally called as non-stoichiometric defect. And there are two types. One is metal excess defect, second one is metal deficiency defect, right? So in the word itself says metal excess and metal deficiency. Metal reduces, the value of metal reduces, and how it reduces I will explain here, right? So in case of metal excess defect, what happens? So the defect caused due to the extra cation at the interstitial site. The word itself says the defect caused due to the extra cation at the interstitial site, which means here we will not add any kind of extra cation. Here we will not add any kind of extra cation. We will just remove one electron. So therefore what happens? There will be an increase in the number of cation. For example, if I take a crystal system here. So if I consider, so this is the complete crystal system, right? So it consists of electrons, protons, right? So that is positive charge and negative charge. For example, if you consider, so the given crystal system consists of 10 positive charge as well as 10 negative charge, because the crystal system will be always neutral, right? So it consists of 10 positive charge and 10 negative charge. If I remove one electron from this, what happens? It will convert into 9 negative charge, right? So 9 negative charge, and it will convert into 10 positive charge, right? So 9 will be negative, 10 will be positive, right? So here we have not added the extra cation, but what we did, we have removed one electron. Due to the removal of one electron, it has converted into 9, but it looks like it has increased one proton. But basically what is the thing? The protons are same, but due to the removal of one electron from this negative charge, it looks like we have increased one proton. So that type of defect is generally called as metal excess defect. The word itself says the excess means increase in the value, but practically we are not increasing any cation, just we are removing one electron. Here if you observe, this is the arrangement of atoms, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, like this. I have removed one electron here. If you count, the number of positive charges are more due to the removal of one electron, one negative charge, right? Since we have removed one electron, it looks like there is one extra proton or there is one extra positive charge, right? So this removed electron, so there will be an empty space. Here there will be an empty space due to the removal of electron, and this empty space is generally called as F center. This empty space is generally called as F center, and that is given for the name of the scientist, due to the name of the scientist, that is Farbenzenter, right? Farbenzenter. So that is center, right? So that is generally called as F center, right? So in case of any kind of crystal system, due to the removal of one electron, it looks like there is one extra cation. There is one extra cation, and that type of defect is called as a metal excess defect. If you observe in case of zinc oxide, if you heat zinc oxide, what happens? It will convert into Zn+2. It will convert into Zn+2, which means we are removing the electrons from the zinc due to the removal of 2 electrons. Here if you observe, I have removed 2 electrons. How? By heating zinc oxide, it is converted into zinc+2, right? And this type of defect is generally called as metal excess defect. The most important thing in case of metal excess defect is due to the removal of electron, it looks like, but we are not practically increasing the cation. Remember that one, right? So just there is it looks like there is an increase in the count of or extra cation is present at the interstitial site. That is generally called as a metal excess defect. And in case of metal deficiency, it is very simple. Deficiency means reduce in the value. Deficiency means reduce or missing of ion, right? So if you observe in case of iron oxide, if you heat iron oxide, what happens? So due to the missing of Fe+2 ions, whenever there is a missing of positive, that is cation, we will call it as metal deficiency. Whenever there is a extra cation, we will call it as metal excess. That is a major difference. Just the difference is based on only one word. Whenever there is extra cation, you will call it as metal excess. Whenever there is a missing of positive or cation, you will call it as metal deficiency. That's all, right? So in case of metal excess, what happens? There is an extra cation, but in metal deficiency, what happens? There is a missing of cation. There is a missing of cation. Whenever you heat iron oxide, the Fe plus to ion itself moves, or it will be missed from the crystal system, and that is generally called as deficiency. Deficiency means reduce in the value or low value. It is generally called as metal deficiency. Right. So this is about the defects which we can see in case of solids. One is a Schottky defect. One is a stoichiometric defect. Second one is impurity defect, and third one is non-stoichiometric defect. And most important question in that is 2 marks differences between Schottky defect as well as Fresnel defect. And the next important concept is electrical properties. Right. So the electrical properties in case of solids. Right. So how they behave with the electrical current, right? So that is generally called as electrical. And these electrical properties can be given by 2 methods. One is we can explain the electrical properties of any material with the help of magnitude, which means a range in which the conductivity lies between, right? The conductivity in which range, that range is generally called as magnitude, right? So that is explained, or that can be measured in terms of unit. That unit is per ohm per meter. Per ohm per meter, right? So you can measure the electrical properties, that electrical value. So in terms of magnitude or range, that range is generally measured in terms of a unit called, that is per ohm per meter. Per ohm per meter, right? So therefore here if you observe 3 types of substances are there. Any substance may be in the form of 3 types. One is conductor, second one is insulator, third one is semiconductor. First one is conductor, second one is insulator, third one is semiconductor. And we already know the definition. So conductors are the substances which have greater force of, or which have capacity to give the flow of electrons. The substances generally which shows the flow of electrons are called as good conductors. Bad conductors means which have resistance, which have generally have a resistance. Basically we can define like this, but whenever you say the exact value, right? So between which range, whenever the conductivity lies, then it is called as conductor. Whenever the conductivity range, certain range, right? So whenever that range crosses, it will become semiconductor, or it will become insulator, like this. Remember, here we are explaining the electrical properties not with the help of definition, just with the help of magnitude. Magnitude means it's a range, how much it can conduct or how much it can resist. On the basis of that we are explaining the electrical properties. And further also you will study about the band theory. There is another theory or another method for the calculation of electrical properties, that is generally called as band theory. But here in this class we will explain about the electrical properties based on magnitude or a range. That magnitude or a range can be explained in terms of unit or measured in terms of unit, that is per ohm per meter, right? So already we know that any substance can be present in 3 different forms. One is conductors, second one is insulators, or third one is semiconductor, right? So the conductors are the substances whose conductivity is ranging between 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7. Remember this value. This might be asked for your CET or JEE, right? So the conductivity whose conductivity range is present or ranging between 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter. That is the unit of measurement, per ohm per meter, right? So the almost all conductor, its conductivity is ranging between 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter. And in case of insulators, what happens? These are the substances which are having the conductivity which is in the range between 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10. Remember, both are negative values. 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. That is the same value, per ohm per meter, same unit, right? So insulators are the substances whose conductivity ranging between 10 raised to 20 to 10 raised to minus 10. 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. And semiconductors are the type of substances whose conductivity ranging between 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to plus 4, right? So if they ask, give the electrical properties based on range or based on magnitude, means you have to give the specific value, that is a definite value. In case of conductors, what happens? The conductivity is ranging between 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7. Both are positive value. You can remember it very easily, because for conductors it is both positive value, for insulators it is both negative value, and for semiconductor it is between positive and negative. Because semiconductors are the substance which conductivity lies between both insulators and conductors. Therefore, in semiconductors, it is one negative and one positive value, right? So therefore, in case of conductors, what happens? Whose conductivity is ranging between 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter. And in case of insulators, the range is between 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10. And in case of semiconductors, it is in between 2, that is 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter. Right? So like this, we can define the electrical properties in case of solid. Okay, once we'll revise what we have studied today, there is a main difference between, that is 2 marks question, Fresnel defect and Schottky defect. First thing, you have to always write the definition of Fresnel defect as well as Schottky defect, and dislocation of cations from the normal side to interstitial side in case of Fresnel defect. And in case of Schottky defect, what happens? Complete missing of cations and anions. Second important difference is density remains same. In Schottky defect, density decreases. And in case of Fresnel defect, what happens? It can be seen in case of solids having low coordination number. But in Schottky defect, what happens? It is found in the solids having high coordination number. And Fresnel defect can also be seen as an interstitial defect, right? So due to the just there is a dislocation. But in case of Schottky defect, what happens? It is generally called as vacancy defect. And you can see the examples in case of zinc sulfide. So Fresnel defect takes place, and Fresnel defect also seen in case of silver chloride. And in case of Schottky defect, the Schottky defect can be seen in case of sodium chloride and potassium chloride. And silver bromide is the only molecule which has ability to show both type of defect, that is Fresnel defect as well as Schottky defect. And the second important type is impurity defect, the defect which is caused due to the addition of another compound or another molecule or another substance is generally termed as impurity defect due to the addition of. It is completely based on the charge of the ion which is present in the compound. It is completely based on the charge of if it is plus 3 charge, it will remove 3 Na plus. If it is plus 2, it will remove 2. If it is plus 4, we have to remove 4, like that. So due to the presence of charge which is present on the ion in the added impure compound, that is generally called as impurity defect. The defect caused due to the addition of the compound or a molecule is generally called as impurity defect. And the next important thing we have seen, that is non-stoichiometric defect. There is a third type of defect, the defect which is caused due, or the defect which does not disturb or do not disturb the stoichiometry of the molecules or the crystal system, that is generally recognized as non-stoichiometric defect. In a non-stoichiometric, there are two types. One is metal excess defect. So another one is metal deficiency defect. In the metal excess, what happens? It looks like there is one extra cation due to the removal of one electron. And wherever there is a removal of one electron, there will be an empty space, that is generally called as F center. F center is also known as Farben center, right? So in case of zinc oxide, if you heat, whenever there is a removal of electron, it will convert into zinc plus 2, right? And in case of metal deficiency, what happens? Missing of ion, that is deficiency means missing of Fe plus 2 ion or a loss of positive charge. Due to the loss of, whenever there is an extra positive charge, we'll call it as metal excess. Remember, whenever there is a loss of positive charge, we'll call it as metal deficiency. And further also, we have seen the electrical properties. Electrical properties can be explained with the help of definition also, with the help of magnitude or range also, or we can explain on the another type of explanation for the electrical properties, that is generally called as band theory, that we'll study in the next class. So just here, remember, we are explaining the electrical properties based on the magnitude or a range, which means the unit for the measurement is per ohm meter. And in conductors, the conductivity ranging between 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7, both are positive value. And insulators, 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10, that is insulators, that is both are the negative values. And in case of semiconductor, what happens? It lies between the negative and positive value, because according to definition of semiconductor, we know that the conductivity whose the range is in between the conductors and insulators, that is generally called as semiconductor, that is 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter, right? So this is all about the today's classes, and tomorrow we'll discuss about the band theory. So along with that, some important the magnetic properties in case of solids also. So we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.